We've all heard stories of the Mandalorian bounty hunter.
I can use some information.
Whoa, for this price, I'll tell you whatever you want. I don't think he knows what he's doing.
This is the way.
You, the outcast, who are letting an enemy see your face.
Not if you all die.
You heard it up top. We are once again going to a galaxy far, far away as we talk what we used to talk all the time on this podcast. That's right, it's Star Wars once more. It's been a while. We're returning to a familiar friend. Except now, he's a major motion picture because we're talking The Mandalorian and Grogu, the new theatrically released film here on Normies Like Us with your hosts. This is Martin Colin Sazy.
Is the Mike DeLorean. This is the way.
What's up? This is Baby Jacob, aka Jake Grew.
Jake.
Wow, wow, wee, wow.
Yeah. 7 years of no Star Wars in the theaters. That's crazy. Somehow Palpatine did return 7 years ago, and Star Wars did not return after that until this very moment. Wow.
That's right. It's the first theatrical experience of Star Wars in 7 years. And the crowd goes mild.
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah.
What was in the last one was number 9, Rise of Skywalker.
Rise of the Skywalker.
Correct. Yep,
Yeah.
yep. Rise of Star Wars,
Rise of Star Wars. And we've had, obviously Star Wars streaming shows. We've had The Mandalorian. We've had Ahsoka, Andor, the Acolyte. All of our favorites.
Wow.
Yes, indeed.
Alphabetically.
We've had a regime head up by a titan of the industry named Kathleen Kennedy. We've had that regime, of course, now come to a close. We're seeing the start of a new dawn.
People out of Star Wars, am I right?
We kicked that B word to the curb, the rise of Dave Filoni and his little cowboy hat. We're seeing that with this film.
Yes.
Yeah, back at it again. Dave Filoni, the Star Wars man himself.
Dave Filoni, Jon Favreau. First of all, I want to make a correction because we are not reviewing a movie here today, okay? We are reviewing several episodes of a TV show cut together. That's what we're reviewing.
Season 4 of The Mandalorian. Yes, correct.
Yes.
Someone on the subreddit did chunks and took stills and put episode titles on them, and they fucking every one of them nailed it.
You can literally feel like where
That's
one episode
awesome.
ends and the next episode begins. So
You sure can. And one of them's a two-parter, at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And one of them's called "The Guy Was the Dude?" question mark.
Yes, the target.
Gasp.
Yeah, so we're going to be talking all things Mandalorian and Grogu. Spoilers on this one. I got to say, today, we're recording this on Memorial Day. Some people are out there grilling, flame grilling. I want to let you guys know. I went to Burger King and I flame grilled it up too, and I got my Mandalorian Grogu cup.
wow.
I got my Imperial taters. So I'm committed to the bit.
Got your Mandalorian helmet on your mic.
Correct.
I wonder if that affects your audio quality at all because it's covering like the top of the mic.
Well, the diaphragm is like in this direction, so we're pretty clear for there.
That's good.
And then I have this Baby Yoda. It's one of the first things my dad ever 3D printed. So it's just
wow.
What a journey with this
paint
3D printing and all that.
Yeah.
So
very cool.
So I'm locked in. I got my
mask.
Helmet. Yeah, I like the reflective
What
visor.
you've got all these accoutrements, Mike. But to answer in your heart, where are you with the property known as Star Wars, and where are you with the character known as the Mandalorian currently?
You know what is, I guess, to lean into the bit of my Burger King and all that, I'm in the place where it's all a cynical cash grab, and I'm tongue-in-cheek buying into it. That's where I was at going into this movie. I was like, here we are, season 4 on the big screen,
Star Wars?
I guess. Yeah,
It's a cynical cash grab?
Hold
yeah,
on.
imagine. So I was kind of, didn't have much expectation. I was just like, yep, it's a TV show on the big screen. They're trying to get some money, and that's kind of how I felt before experiencing it. What about you guys?
Well, I just want to continue what you're saying about the the tie-ins because I
The
sent you
Burger
guys
King
some
bounty
text,
hunter meal.
Yes, you got your Burger King. I sent some pics in our chat earlier of my sister who works at Bath and Body Works, not like in the retail store, but she works in like the corporate office or whatever. But and she sent me these pics of the whole line that they did, which is the Mando and Grogu line of products.
Yes.
That's like different like lotions and things, I assume. In case you want to smell like Grogu or smell like Din Djarin, you can do
Yes.
that now at Bath and Body Works.
Well, that's great, and it's important because on Tatooine and planets like that, even Hoth, I'm sure it gets pretty dry, so you got to moisturize, you got to get that lotion on
That's
hand.
right. You
don't
need your
wanna be dried out.
Mandalorian moisturizer.
That's right. This is the
And I
way.
also want to point out, you have your accoutrements. I have my display here of my Funko Pops, and I thought, now I've got several Star Wars ones, so I got this little guy to represent Star Wars, and he's our friend from Rogue One.
Our friend from Rogue One, Alan Tudyk.
K2SO.
Alan Tudyk. And then I've got to represent our Mandalorian. I've got my favorite Pedro Pascal character here.
Great.
Oberyn Martell.
All right,
the Red Viper of Dorne.
We've gotten our Game of Thrones reference for the episode. Excellent. Oh, and I don't know if
that's
the
right. And I've got
what
my
just happened there.
Tav's hat in the background here as we're getting blown out at home in Game 4 of a sweep. But yeah, I've got Pedro and I've got Star Wars represented.
Nice.
Because I don't have a Mandalorian or a Grogu pop, so those were the best I could do.
And you don't have you never purchased one of those stuffed baby Grogu's, Jacob, to
no, I wish.
With one of those realistic. No, certainly
I think
not.
Joe has one of those, right?
He does.
Joe.
It's something when I used to drink back in the day, I really used to love to cradle. But where are you in your heart with the property known as the Wars of the Stars and the little goblin baby?
I mean, I'm kind of in the same boat. I mean, first of all, I like Grogu. I think he's a cute little baby, and I'm a fan of Grogu myself. Star Wars overall, I feel similarly to Mike.
You keep saying, "I want to see the child."
I would like to see the child.
Yeah. I'd like to see the child.
And I think, the Mandalorian, it's fine for a show. I think there was one really great, obviously, streaming show called Andor that came out that it's kind of a modern miracle that was actually made in the current Star Wars landscape of like things being made, that this somehow slipped through the cracks and got made. But overall, I'm like, yeah, I guess I'll go see the new Star Wars product, but I'm not. Yeah. It is what it is. This is the way. So, yeah.
To be fair, Andor did get a theatrical release for its finale just before the show existed in form of Rogue One. You know what I mean?
I just think it's a miracle that show got made at all. And it's like, yeah, we want to make a show about a side character from Rogue One, and it's going to be all about like the politics of revolutionaries against the Empire and stuff. Yeah, we'll probably never see anything like that again in the foreseeable future from Star Wars. So
no, but we'll get into it. But we'll probably see more like this in the foreseeable future, almost certainly. Wow. But Colin, where in your heart are you on the Grogster and his papa?
Well, I definitely got 100% jealous of you, Mike. So I did run out to my local BK and had
wow,
no way
BK
as well.
Boys.
I got the same one as you. I got the gray because it seemed like the coolest one. It's Mando using his jetpack with our boy Grogu.
Yep.
You've got all the little baby, I think they're called Iberians.
They're Azalians, I think.
Azalians, thank you, Mike.
They're
You've
called
got the little skull. You've got Grogu wearing his Mando drip, right? You've got the new Razor Crest. We'll talk all about these things.
I also want to hear about obviously your theatrical experiences. Did you get the popcorn buckets and all that? And Alamo Draft House, of course. Yeah.
Now, I also went to Walmart and I got the exclusive Nilla Grogu Num Num Nilla wafers, which are the Grogu's cookies that he essentially eats the whole time. Where he's always like, like making like little freakazoid noises that he wants these little things.
Wow.
They're
How are
super tiny. They're super delicious. They're much smaller than a normal Nilla wafer. They're super good.
Are they flavored differently than a normal Nilla wafer? Like,
they're kind of just
mint or
more.
something?
No, they're like more vanilla-y almost, but there's definitely like a food or a dye or a chemically taste. Now,
Right.
Which should be mint or like pistachio flavored, I feel.
It should be frog flavored.
they should be frog flavored. Now, where am I with the property known as Star Wars?
Yes.
As you guys know, I famously have not watched this thing called Andor.
Yes. Despite our many attempts to get you to watch it.
Our lobby.
I've picked and chosen what I want to consume, and I think a lot of what my discussion this entire episode is going to be is what is Star Wars, because I think it's the hardest question in the world to answer, and I think my weird selections of what I consume is what I consider Star Wars. I didn't do what's that? Children versus Pirates. What's that silly one?
Skeleton Crew, The Goonies.
I didn't do
I didn't watch that either.
Crew. I didn't do Skeleton Crew. I did do The Acolyte. I didn't do Andor. I did do Ahsoka and gave up. I did do Obi-Wan and hated it. I hated Boba Fett. I think season 1 of Mando is immaculate. I think season 2 of Mando is a weird show where they're like, did you know we're allowed to introduce characters again, like Ahsoka and Boba Fett and all these, weird characters? And it's like, no, just stick to what you know. And then season 3 is like, did you know this is the Bo-Katan show? And it's like, no, again, like, stop what you're doing. You're being crazy. Yeah. Now, so all that to be said, real quick, that's my TV consumption. In the meantime, 2 months ago, I did get the opportunity to go to Disney World in Orlando, Florida, as I was out there for work. I flew in a day early and slept at the Disney parks so that I could basically experience Disney and specifically get a park hopper to go into Star Wars World. And
Galaxy's
did
Edge.
like experience like the full Galaxy's Edge, we're in the world sort of thing.
Yes.
So whenever I think about like how much I kind of like don't love Star Wars right now, I was very much eager to be like, oh, I am a child existing and living in Star Wars.
Yeah, you sent some
I definitely want to hear about that. And now, have you heard the news recently about how they're retooling Galaxy's Edge? Because essentially, so I saw this, it was interesting, the statistics of what Star Wars gets most rewatched on Disney Plus. They released this like on Star Wars Day, May the 4th. Be with you.
With you.
And what's interesting is what's not on there, right? So Andor near the top, Mandalorian near the top, prequels, everything you would expect to be on there are getting rewatched. What's not on there? Episode 6, 7, 8, and 9, the sequels are nowhere to be found in the top 10 of most rewatched Star Wars properties on Disney Plus.
Wow.
Nobody likes the sequels, and they haven't been reclaimed in the same way that the prequels have. And Galaxy's Edge being based around sequel stuff, they're starting to retool that because they're like, let's get back to what people actually like, which is like Luke and Leia and Han Solo and all this stuff. So they're retooling it away from the sequels. They're trying to basically just erase the sequels from memory.
Right.
I want to know if like that was your experience visiting it or
Is it more the classic stuff or is it still sequel stuff there?
I was actually shocked. I did every ride, but like we started with the classic ride Star Tours, which is sort of like the original Star Wars theme park ride. And when it became that the path we took was to go to the Crystal Planet from The Last Jedi, I did out loud say, no, not one of these ones. Like, do like any other Star Wars. I don't want to do these ones.
Do one of the real ones.
No, I found it. We rode the Rise of Resistance ride, which is literally you fight Kylo Ren and the New Order and all that stuff. Like it is very much in the new wars. So that's interesting.
You have Hux.
Yeah, well, I guess that's all going to be redesigned or something like that. Or they're going to retool it and just because no one likes those movies apparently. I still like The Last Jedi. I'll defend The Last Jedi.
I like that one. Yeah.
Yeah. It's more that 9 kind of ruins the whole trilogy for everybody. So like people are already divided by The Last Jedi. Some people loved it, some people hated it. Then Rise of Skywalker came out. Everyone hated that. So then it just retroactively ruin the
So-
whole trilogy.
Yeah.
So it's been 7 years since a Star Wars film in theaters. When was the last time you guys watched a Star Wars film?
A film?
Ooh.
Yeah,
Oh, it would have
Rogue
been
One.
Rogue One. I rewatched Rogue One after I finished Andor.
Same.
Yeah.
but
I did
that
the
was
exact
like a
same thing.
year ago, 2 years
Yeah,
ago,
about a
or
year ago.
something. Now
At the end
good.
of season 2 of Andor.
Well, that's
whenever
good.
Yeah,
I
it was
like
a year
that.
ago. Yeah, and that
But
works as
outside of
as
that-
a sort of epilogue to Andor, which, and Colin, again, will you explain why you won't watch Andor as part of your purview of what Star Wars is?
There needs to be a level of quality with Star Wars, and if I hit this threshold where you guys are like, this is the greatest thing of all time and it transcends it, I'm like, great, all Star Wars will be bad then if I ever watch Star Wars again.
Yeah.
Inversely, when there is this like slop bottom of the barrel shit and people are like, oh, you wouldn't believe how bad this is, that breaks my heart too. And I will not like watch like, like whatever people consider the worst garbage of Star Wars, because I don't want that either.
Ah, man.
I guess that's fair.
I'll say this.
You
it
basically
was,
stay in
like,
the middle.
Stay in the middle. You don't want to watch on Andor because it'll ruin everything for you. It certainly will. And we recorded
It's
that
too
on
good.
May 21st, 2025. So almost a year exactly.
That's right.
Was when
So
we
it's
were
been a
talking
year.
Andor. So
The thing with Andor is it maybe has been overhyped to you because other people watching it and saying it's so great. So then your expectations are so high that it's hard to match it if you did watch it. But I would say it's still worth watching. Like you wouldn't not watch Empire Strikes Back because it's too good or something. So I don't know, but it's interesting logic, but I'll accept it.
But yeah,
Thank
so
you.
we're but yeah, now we're coming off of the TV show again. Star Wars is in this weird place. They're rebranding the park. They're like, what are we doing? And then this is their first, I guess, swing. I
Yeah.
think we had some management changes that were like, oh, we're going to do a season 4. And they were like, no, we're making a movie. We want theatrical money. And that's kind of how
Well,
this happened.
I think after obviously they were branching out. They did Rogue One. They did Solo, a Star Wars story, and they said, okay, we can do different things outside of the main line Skywalker epics, right?
Mhm.
And then, but those were to a certain degree failures, especially Solo, critically and commercially. And then they said, okay, no more theatrical movies we're taking a break and we're going to streaming and we're going to do that for a while. And they didn't release a movie for 7 years, like we said. So for them to come back and say, all right, this is our grand reopening of a Star Wars movie in theaters, and what we've gone with is more Mando and Grogu. To me, it's just a really odd choice that this is like, to me, a Star Wars movie should be like a big event, right? Every time one of the
Yeah.
episodes came out, it was like a huge event, right? This did not feel like a big event at all. This was like, oh, more Mando and Grogu that you can see on your screen at home, and now it's in theaters, so I guess come and watch it. But it didn't feel like a movie event in the same way that even the sequels did. Even Rise of Skywalker had a bigger oh shit,
Yeah.
this is really coming out type of feel to it,
They would feel like a cultural moment. And this was more like, it's there if you want it,
Yeah. It
yeah.
doesn't have that cinematic quality, and it doesn't have that feeling of specialness. Like when the title scroll comes up, you hear that John Williams music, and then there's just that Star Wars magic. And this movie doesn't really have that at all. And that's kind of my main problem with it if we're getting into it. But
Well, yeah, let's do that.
yeah.
Let's get in this tiny little Babu Frick spaceship and hyperdrive over to the Mandalorian and Grogu on Normies Like Us. This is the way.
Yippee!
We're back. You're on Normies Like Us, and I'm not like my dad. I'm Rasa the
I'm
Hutt.
my own man. I'm
My own
Jeremy
man.
Allen Hutt.
I'm a normal guy. I speak normal with an English voice because we're talking The Mandalorian and Grogu, the theatrically
Mhm.
released Star Wars film. Like we said, it's not a Disney Plus original, no matter how much it feels like it here on Normies Like Us.
That's right. It's not like its dad. It's a whole movie. It's a theatrical movie. It's its own movie.
I'm not
Yeah.
like my streaming
But again,
service.
is it a movie? Because again, it doesn't
Yeah.
really feel like a movie. It feels like they
Totally.
took what was going to be season 4 of The Mandalorian and condensed it and said, how can we make this into a movie? And it seems like Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau were like, hey, this is the movie. We want to make this a movie. And that's the only reason it got made into a movie, is because they're like, we want it to be a movie.
Right.
Um,
And then I guess if you think about a new Star Wars, like why these characters, I think it's because normies know who they are. Like everybody likes Grogu.
Certainly.
It was their first hit on their streaming
It's
stuff.
their
So
biggest
people,
marketing thing
right?
right now, which is Baby Yoda.
They're
Yeah.
they're like truly. We talked about how there's this new leadership, very much akin to what's going on with the DC universe, where there's a creative head with James Gunn, and then a producer head with his producer partner. Dave Filoni does have a business partner as well. And Dave Filoni has sort of like outlined now as the creative head and president of Lucasfilms, like what he wants to do. He did sort of a Marvel style presentation that's basically like a Mando movie, an Ahsoka movie, meets a Rebels reunion movie, meets a, Revenge of Thrawn. It all comes back to this. And I guess what we are led to believe is that this is the first chapter or entry into that timeline. What's essentially a film, as we keep critiquing, that feels like a truncated season of television that really doesn't seem to have a greater impact on the larger Star Wars universe. And is that the weakness of this, or is that the strength of this? Should it have world-ending stakes, or should it be a
No, there's
slice
like
of
no
life?
stakes in this movie. Like, yeah, it
But
doesn't.
there's basically nothing happens in this movie. In fact, he basically tricks two slugs, and the slugs are like, "We're gonna get you." And he's like, "Oh yeah, I forgot about those slugs" at the end of the movie.
Right.
Yeah. And like the New
So,
Republic is really dumb and like,
yeah.
yeah, we're working with the Huts. Oh no, they betrayed us. This is
Okay,
surprising to
that's
us.
what they do.
But I think this is the direction that obviously Dave Filoni wants to take the Star Wars brand in, which is Dave Filoni is the Clone Wars guy, is the guy that invented Ahsoka, his favorite character, and invented these Clone Wars characters that he's now like, let's base the whole direction of this universe on bringing back these Clone Wars and Rebels characters because that's what people care about. At least that's what Dave Filoni cares about.
I think that's a big misstep, and there's a little bit of that in this. Even though Filoni didn't direct this, he co-wrote it with Favreau. But like him thinking that everybody is as excited to see his Rebel characters on live action is a huge misstep. Like that's
even
not the right
Ahsoka.
call.
Like Ahsoka is obviously his favorite
And I
character
like
that
that
he
stuff.
created in Clone Wars to be Anakin's Padawan, who becomes this very important character in the lore that they based the whole show around it with Rosario Dawson and all this stuff. And it's like you're trying to force Ahsoka on us so much that like I don't even care about her anymore. Like
she met Luke Skywalker and Baby Yoda.
That's right.
She named Grogu. Up until
found his
season
name,
2, he
yeah.
was just called the
His
child.
name
And
is
then she
Grogu.
said, his name's actually Grogu.
Yeah, I read its mind.
And I want to talk about the name too because I think that was a marketing mistake to name him Grogu. Actually,
Jacob. Oh, I thought you were going to say the title of this film.
Well, the title too. Yes.
Fucking horrible.
But even naming him Grogu, because so obviously everyone was already calling him Baby Yoda, and he was officially known as the Child, right?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like they maybe should have just kept it as the Child because now you're giving him a different goofy name. We already call him Baby Yoda. No one wants to call him Grogu, right?
Right.
So, and
Don't
now you have
Shitto.
Yeah. Now you have a
6
movie,
months.
The Mandalorian and Grogu. Yeah.
6 months before he was named, fucking American Dad, Roger the Alien, revealed his son on that show, Grogu, a child version of Roger. 6 months beforehand.
Wow.
I want
American
everybody
Dad
to know
did it
that.
first.
That's incredible.
And imagine, if they just called him the Child, it could have been The Mandalorian and the Child, which I don't know if that's a good title either.
I don't
but
think that's great either. But what they're doing is like this throwback to like 80s, maybe 70s, sword and sandal adventure films, like kind of the serial Flash Gordon thing. Like they're trying to do that kind of like
sort of
this,
Absolutely,
vibe.
Yeah. It's like an adventure. It's an Indiana
Mike.
Jones-esque adventure kind of movie.
Mike, that's what the poster wants you to think. That's not what the tone of this film, the editing, the writing, anything makes you believe.
To a certain degree, I think. Yeah, I think from the poster, the title, font, and everything, it's very much giving Indiana Jones, which again, Indiana Jones was a sort of love letter to those Flash Gordon serials and stuff too. So that all kind of makes sense, and it's in line with the Spielberg Lucas kind of thing. So But again, does this movie always feel that way? This movie is kind of just a series of things happening, and the overarching plot is like not anything, and it's just like they're just doing side quests basically. Mando and Grogu are doing side quests.
I need you to do this. Okay. Like there's
Yeah.
so many scenes of Mando going, "You got it,"
Yeah,
and then
he's
him
just
turning
doing his
around and
job.
saying, "Go without me." It's like, go without you. You're so past that. You know that, Mando.
Yeah.
Yeah. And again, it's nothing that you wouldn't see in an episode of the show.
right.
That's the problem.
And
There's like nothing to differentiate it and make it a more cinematic, big experience. Like to be a movie, there has to be a reason that the movie exists. Like, what is the reason for this movie to exist outside of the show? I guess is what I'm thinking.
Yeah, and I'll be right out the gate. It's a 5 out of 10. Like it's a functionally something you can watch, and like there's some fight scenes that are neat, but it's like as far as the plot, yeah, literally there's no growth, no development. The characters at the beginning of the movie are in the exact same place they are at the end of the movie, so you could totally never watch this, go into the next season of The Mandalorian, and effectively the relationship is static.
Yeah, because they've already done their emotional arcs in the show, Grogu and Mando, their relationship and everything. So it's nothing. We don't learn anything new about their relationship that we haven't seen in the show already. If you're coming into this having not seen the show, it's like a good introduction to those characters, I guess. But if you've already seen the whole show, then it's like, what is this adding other than another mission that they go on? It's not even like a good episode of the show. It's like a mid episode of the show.
Right.
Like what happened?
Go ahead.
Well, does that inherently, Jacob, by being a bad episode of a television show, make it the worst Star Wars movie?
It can't be the worst Star Wars movie because The Rise of Skywalker exists, and it's such a low bar to be like, well, obviously The Rise of Skywalker is not only the worst Star Wars movie to me, it's like one of the worst movies ever made in the context of which it was made. Like it's just a total abomination to me. So this just being a fun mid ride is already better than The Rise of Skywalker.
It's not offensive, but it's not groundbreaking. It has sequences that I liked, but yeah, it's just kind of here's some more Mando and Grogu, and it does weird things where, like, I don't think anybody ever says Din Djarin. They just call him the Mandalorian,
Mando.
like the whole movie. It's like,
you said 5 out of 10. I think even that's generous. I would say maybe 4 out of 10.
Wow. Okay.
So I go 1 point lower than you.
1 point lower.
Colin,
Colin, where are you at?
Yeah. I was literally going to interrupt to say, I'm not positive I could go 5 out of 10.
Wow.
I would also say maybe 4 out of 10.
Let me tell you guys, there's my favorite thing about this movie that might give it another point from you guys is a guy called Ludwig Göransson, because the music rips.
I
love
100% agree with you. The music is hard carrying this movie to an insane degree,
Yes.
and Ludwig Göransson is great. Yeah.
There was a moment where I, in my mind, thought, well, I guess if you're paying a ticket to see it in theaters, you are paying for like a fuller soundtrack. Like he starts like the track, and then he's like, guess
and
what?
He mixes
bum
it.
bum, and then he just like hits the next
hip-hop.
level. And you're like, oh, and he he kind of
like hip-hop
shocks you for a
beat.
minute.
There's it's so
cool.
inventive what he does with
Very
these
special.
themes and how they change throughout the movie. And it literally makes certain scenes like 30 to 50% better for me. Like when he goes to the cyberpunk planet, it's just literally just walking around, and the music is so good that I'm like tricked into thinking that it's good.
Yeah.
Interesting. I'm saying 4 out of 10. Again, maybe that's a stretch. It might even truly be closer to 3. The thing that dings it for me is I knew even in the marketing, like we were for months getting these bum ass trailers where it seemed like there was nothing for this film to even spoil. Like usually these later, like even like hitting like May the 4th, where they really amped the marketing up. You expect a trailer to be like, and this is the one where it reveals that like Mando dies in this movie, or Grogu says his first words, or like some hint of something. And the fact that it had nothing going in, sitting down, I was like, this movie is going to have nothing. And then when the whole movie played out and it truly had that, and I wasn't surprised or shocked for a minute, and it truly did the Dua Lipa meme, Jacob, of yes, girl, give
Come on,
us
girl,
nothing.
give us nothing. Yeah.
like you almost like that almost bumps it up a little, but it's a negative point that it's bumping it up. So again, you're just like, well, no, that's not a positive. Like it's a detractor. You feel bad because this movie doesn't even try a little.
I would agree. Like,
for
you
nothing.
literally can't spoil this movie because nothing happens in it that would be spoilable.
No.
Like what are the biggest spoiler in this movie? Oh, Jabba the Hutt's son is in it, I guess.
He's like, the spoiler is he's like a nice guy.
He's like a muscular Hutt.
I mean, I guess, and spoilers for this movie, even though there technically aren't any. Like what? I guess the twin Hutts get killed.
Like
Yeah.
say like truly, Mike, do the plot right now. Say the 5 scenes that make up this movie, Mike.
He does a bounty hunt, and then they find out that they got to go bounty hunt. They got to work with the Hutts to get Rada, and then it turns out
And he finds out that he was double crossed.
the guy who Rada was working for was the
Rada
guy
likes
they're
where
looking
he
for.
is.
Yeah, Rada likes where he is. He's got one more fight. They're going to let
Rada
him
being
go.
a good Hutt is a spoiler, I guess.
But the fix is in, so they're not going to let him go after his next fight. And then it turns out that the guy running the fights is actually the guy the Hutts were going to give him information about. He's called Coin, Admiral Coin or something. He's they're hunting the Imperial guys, right?
Yes.
And then
but the New Republic is so stupid because they're like, okay, we got this.
Like, surely there's a twist with this guy. They're like, no, there's not. It's just this guy. And they're like, well, what's the end of this movie if they caught the big bad? They're like, I guess the slugs could be mad still. And they're like, okay, one more scene with the slugs.
The slugs are mad.
Let me
Mando has to fight a big thing. He gets hurt, and then Grogu sort of nurses him back to health, but he's okay. He doesn't die. Nothing permanently bad happens to him.
So yeah, essentially he does the mission. He frees Rada, and then the Hutts are pissed because they wanted Rada dead, and then they kidnap the Mandalorian. They send Embo or whatever to kidnap him. And then Grogu goes to get him at the palace. That's kind of the movie.
It's 5 scenes. Like like I'm not kidding. It's 5 scenes in a movie.
4 episodes and 1 2-parter. But I think. Go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead.
You first.
Well, I was just gonna say that, like, the strongest part of the movie for me was like the first half because
the
I was
cold
like, okay,
open,
this is
I
fun.
was ready.
Yeah,
like I like the cold open.
And then the gladiator stuff, I was like, okay, this is fun ride, I guess. Like this is all right. And then the movie just kind of kept going. And at one point, I thought it was like wrapping up and almost over, and then it literally went on for another 45 minutes. And I was like, okay, now I'm like, wish I wasn't watching this movie anymore, kind of.
The front half is a lot of Mandalorian bounty stuff. Then he's kind of taken out of the picture when he gets kidnapped. And then it's Grogu centered. He's kind of on his own little adventure, nursing him back to health. And I was like dozing off a little bit during the Grogu segment.
That was where, when he gets out of the Hutt's castle and is like, go on without me or whatever. I was like, this movie's got to be wrapping up soon. And then, there's a long scene of Grogu in the woods, taking care of Mando with the Babu Fricks and stuff. And then they had to go back and stop the Jabbas. He makes a
Yoda style hut. It's inherent in his DNA to build
swamps.
one of those.
It's genetic memory.
Yes,
it
is.
The best part is when Grogu meets a random like guy in the bayou who's just like sitting
Bayou
on a
Bill?
wooden rocking chair fishing.
I like him.
Yeah.
I like that
bayou.
I like that their fish have the same anatomy as fish from Earth too, like exactly the same. Let me bring up something I have issue with. So, the main plot is they need information on who this General Coin is. Nobody knows what he looks like. The Hutts know, but you got to go get Rada for us. They actually want Rada to kill him so they can take over the thing. But if they know who Coin is, they know that Rada is fighting for him and that guy is going to kill Rada in a fixed fight. So why not just let him kill Rada in the fixed fight? Why involve the New Republic at all? What are we doing?
It doesn't really make sense. And also just the fact that the New Republic is like, we're working with the Hutts and we don't see anything suspicious in working with the Hutts. Like there's no possible way they could like backstab us. Like these
we saw
notorious
this
gangsters or whatever.
at the end of season 3. Mando has settled into this life where he lives at a ranger station. He's like, I will have a little house here in a little land
He's got a little house,
next
got his
to a
little ships.
military outpost where they, give me a job, and I'm like, I will go kill these people,
He's
and
an
you
independent
guys will like
contractor.
protect me. He's an independent contractor, right?
He's got his
Now,
He's got
own
his
homestead.
W-2s. Yeah.
the I think they call it the NBY or whatever. Shout out to our friends at the Cargo Bay who obviously know Star Wars like so much better than us. Shout out to BC. Shout out to Adam.
Yes.
Who could probably tell you that it's the like 91 NBY or something like that. Like that's the fucking year that it's like the fall of the Empire and it's post them trying to fucking rebuild everything after Return of the Jedi, right?
The Battle of Yavin thing, where like 11 years
It's
after
between-
that.
The time zone.
It's between episodes 6 and 7 in the main franchise, I guess.
Yeah.
Sure. I love that. And you've got Mando as a character. He's underneath a newly introduced character. This is Admiral Ward. This is Sigourney Weaver, a sci-fi goddess staple from the Alien franchise, obviously, who's making her mark here. She's arriving.
And she
on
was in the
Wars.
show as well.
Oh, is that true?
Yeah.
Really? I don't remember.
Oh, I do
You
not
guys don't
fucking
remember that?
remember her at all. No, she comes in and she's like, "Here's your mission." No, I
Yeah.
don't remember that at all. That's
Okay, great.
God bless. So here she is. Now, other podcasts have pointed this out, but I want to point out for our sanity and sake, I think this is important to say that Sigourney Weaver, a woman in her mid-70s, beautiful, wonderful, a little less energetic than usual lately, is the only human heartbeat in this film. Everything you see in this movie is CGI gobbledygook or a man with a helmet on that he takes off for like 2 seconds to be like, actually, I'm a movie star with a mustache.
Oh, you
And then
mean
he puts that
Brendan
thing back
Wayne,
on.
Colin?
Oh, that's right.
Brendan Wayne?
My point being, a stunt performance underneath, armor, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So the only actors that you're getting like the human connection that we get as human beings when we see people on screen and see their eyes and go, there's an actor I can trust, is Sigourney Weaver, who kind of gives like a slow sort of like, I need you to catch the bad guys, Mando. And then you have Pedro Pascal doing like the least energetic performance he's ever done. That's like, I will catch the bad guys. And that's your kind of two big heavyweight good guys facing off in this movie. And boy, does it set the tone of how sleepy this whole fucking experience is.
Yeah.
No, it's like everyone's phoning in their performance, and then you have Jeremy Allen White. Oh, I don't want to be rescued.
What are you talking about? Jacob, I'm an
man.
alien. I did a physical performance for this. You can tell.
Yo, I gotta say, if he did the finesse like Glover style with Yoshi, like, oh, I've always wanted to play Rod of the Hutt. Like, just give me the bag.
It's
like,
actually
what a payday.
it's kind of the opposite of that, because I was looking into it in interviews, like, yeah, basically, like, I met with Jon Favreau and he's like, I have you in mind for this character. It's like a voice thing. And I was like, yeah, I'd love to work with you, Jon Favreau. And he's like, okay, read these lines and you're going to be like Jabba the Hutt's son or whatever. So I read them, and then like a year, like 9 months went by. He's like, okay, your character's actually a bigger part of the movie than we thought. So read some more lines. I was like, I didn't even know I was going to be like as big of a part of this movie as we thought. But so it seems like he kind of accidentally is in this movie.
I don't like any of that.
No, but you're right, Colin. It's CG gobbledygook, and like the main character, you don't see. It's a puppet and a guy in a helmet for 90% of this, and then every other person they're interacting with is like some type of space alien. Even Zeb, a guy from Rebels, it's like also kind of a CG.
But I will say, there's CG in this, but I do like the use of practical effects to a certain degree with Grogu, who is a puppet, who I assume they just do CG to his face. I didn't look into the making of this movie, but I know that there's like a physical puppet of Grogu that they use.
Yeah.
And so I like that aspect of it. There's also like later when Mando is like fighting those big droids or whatever in the third act, they're either like animated to look like stop motion or they are stop motion.
It's
But the
stop
way they're
motion.
moving was very stop motion.
Yeah, I think
Um,
they are, yeah.
Yeah,
I think
they're
that's
full
cool. So I
stop.
like the use of puppets and stop motion and practical effects and stuff. So I did like that aspect of it.
I give them that. That's in my notes as one of the pros. Is like I do like the puppets. I like the little guys, the Anzellans running around, the
Yeah,
little rod
the
puppets and
Babus.
stuff, and the stop motion. I
Yeah.
like that, but then there's also just a shit ton of CG slop like all over it too. So
Yeah.
it's tonally like I'm confused with like what was your approach? Like you're just Easter egging these techniques like stop motion to do like remember Sinbad fighting the skeletons? Like is that just for you, Jon Favreau, because you like
We
that
had-
movie?
So we had Phil Tippett, the
Yes.
master special effects artist on the original Star Wars films, do that chessboard sequence, whatever that's called. What does anybody know what that device
Jedi
is?
chess.
They were called.
Yeah.
That's what they named the fixed match after. I'll look it up real quick. It's like a
Yeah,
Darum.
I don't know what it's called.
So he did that special effect back in the day. Now you have those designs being used that literally they use those monsters as the monsters in the Colosseum that Rod of the Hutt is going up against. And it's just
Right.
interesting how special effects, like obviously special effects have been the lifeblood of Star Wars their entire existence, practical effects versus special effects,
Mhm.
whatever. I don't think anything looks bad in this. I think they've got their use of the volume under control after being overexposed, but I also don't think anything stands out as unique or interesting in the new designs that are presented.
Hmm.
Um,
No, I think the puppetry is cool.
Yeah.
The cinematography, like there's nothing special about the cinematography of this movie. Like it doesn't
No.
look good at all. Like it looks like everything looks like it could have been again in the streaming show with maybe just a bigger budget, but again it doesn't have that cinematic quality to it. And again I think the score is just hard carrying it so much that it's actually improving scenes with the score that don't actually look that good, but they trick you into thinking that it's good.
yeah, and but first of all, the chess is called the Jarek, and that's what that match type is called. Even the floor of the arena looks like the
Hilarious.
chessboard. So that whole thing
That's
is
right.
like
And
a
he
big
says,
Easter
"Oh,
egg.
it's a Dejeric match." He says that in the movie, where they
Yep.
just throw different creatures at you until you die, basically.
Until you die. And the one
Cool.
does the slam that it does in the A New Hope, the little finishing move. It
Yeah.
does that for real.
I like the one that's like two-headed but looks like a plant somehow. That
Oh, yeah,
one's
it's got like mouths on its hands. There's one that's like a rancor, like a baby rancor or something, right? There's one like squiggly looking one.
There's a little Pikachu electric bug thing.
Little Pikachu.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, by the
But-
way, so obviously Rod of the Hutt. Are you guys familiar with this character
I
at all?
am.
Because let me tell you, this character, it was in Clone Wars, and it's funny because I remember this character from Clone Wars where he was a little baby Hutt and was kind of hated by the fan base because he took up plots of episodes where Ahsoka is like trying to rescue little baby Hutt, and he just became like a meme character.
Well,
So
this
it's
is
very funny to bring him back and be like, no, he's a serious gladiator guy who's like super muscular.
This is his second theatrical appearance because Dave Filoni put him in the Clone Wars movie that was a bunch of episodes mashed together,
Right.
much like this. And it's like, why are you trying to make Rod of the Hutt a thing, Dave? Like it's
Yeah.
he's Easter egging.
That's why so they
himself at
show
this
that
point.
image of him as a baby, and they're like, well, he's had a growth spurt since then. That's a reference to his Clone Wars appearance.
Yeah, but that being said,
He was like a little baby that would like fart and stuff, and it was
They
like
called him
funny.
Stinky. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I kind of like the Rod of the Hutt character in this movie, Jeremy Allen White. Like, there's not a lot, but I don't know. I'm okay with telling people that I'm not
hate
like my
him.
dad 10 times. He hates
It's-
him.
I like my dad.
The fact you have a Hutt character that's saying, I'm not like my dad, Jabba the Hutt, a famous character that you remember. I'm my own man. And also
Well,
he
we
says
did-
that like 5 times within the movie. Like he just keeps
Yeah.
repeating himself.
We
True.
did when we did Return of the Jedi. I said in that episode, like Jabba the Hutt is the reason this movie is good. When you're a kid, you see Jabba and you're like, anything is possible. Like
Mhm.
to have a character that negs what is the greatest parts of Star Wars, like unique character design, interesting acting, approach, dialogue, writing, like every way that they highlight that character, it has to be incredible for you to be like, actually, Rod is better than Jabba. And just
Whew.
take what he is and just have him go, no, I just talk. I just have a voice. The
Yeah.
kid's lucky he has you. I had no one growing up. The kid's
Yeah,
lucky
you know
he
what?
has you.
Maybe
It was
right. Keep
pretty
an eye out
ridiculous.
for him.
What are you talking about?
Again,
Jabba's
Hutt's-
kid. Jabba
Yeah.
the Hutt.
Jabba the Hutt should sound like this.
Jabba.
Not like this. Hello, my name is John
When
Hutt.
we
Yeah. Okay. Fair.
when we meet the
I hate it.
twins and one of them speaks gobbledygook and the other's like, yeah,
but we can
she's
speak-
right. And it's like talking normal. I was like,
Yeah.
we're in for some trouble here. I don't
Even
like
with the
this. They're setting
twins-
a precedent.
Right, but the twins would at least struggle with it. Like, you will be, outcast. Like
Yeah.
they're not
But why do
fluent
they
with it.
speak English
Where
at
Jeremy
all?
Allen White, hey, I'm from Chicago.
Yeah,
I
they
was
can't like
raised
subtitle
in
him.
Chicago.
The South
Tell
Side
you
of
Star
Shikara.
Star Wars used to have like aliens would just speak different languages and then they would just subtitle it and then
Mhm.
people would just magically know what they were saying in the movie.
Let me tell you something, brother. When I was when I was John Barenthal alien brother, people used to act a certain way.
This is our second bear actor in the Star Wars universe because we have Cousin in Andor. You wouldn't know that, but
That's
me
right.
Jake
And I
would
was
know
saying
that.
I was thinking about how Cousin worked with Pedro in Fantastic Four and now Jeremy Allen White.
Oh my gosh, you're right. They're getting double Disney money.
We get Pedro on the bear.
Get
Yeah.
paid though. Yeah, get Pedro on the
Wow.
bear.
Paid though, Pascal. Yeah.
Yeah, so here's my thing with this little, as while we're talking the bear of it all. They go to a planet called Chikara, which is kind of like Chicago to me, and then they go to the food
Hey,
truck
we don't
from
put
Chef.
ketchup on our hot dogs on this planet.
Right, like they literally have an elevated train, like it's Chicago in space. The guy has like a Tommy gun at one point. Like they go to Space Chicago, which is where the
Yeah.
bear is set, and then they literally go
It'd
to
be
the
funny
food
if
truck
Rod of
from
the
Jon
Hutt-
Favreau's The Bear, or the chef.
Rod of the Hutt needs to be drinking water out of a container from the kitchen or whatever.
A deli container and ripping a cig,
Yeah, smoking a cig out back. Yeah.
stressed about his fight. But yeah, and then you get Martin
Check out my
Scorsese
tattoos.
as this monkey guy in a food
You mean
truck that's
Hugo
definitely making
Durant?
Cubanos.
His name is Hugo Durant, Mike. I want you to respect
Makes Cuba.
Hugo Durant.
Glup shitto.
The- No, if you look into Wikipedia, his name is Hugo Durant, which is a
Incredible.
very funny name for an alien to have.
No, and I just wanted to say, like, yeah, we're literally doing the food truck from the Jon Favreau movie. He's making definitely a space Cubano. Like, it's like, guys, dial it back.
Yes, and again, out of all the actors to get to voice this character, who do they get? Martin
Martin
Scorsese, in his 80s,
Pure cinema.
acclaimed director, of course, star of Shark Tale. So he has voice acted before, but it's such a random poll to be like, we're gonna get Martin Scorsese to voice this character for some reason.
He acted in Jonah Hill's movie this year. He acted
Okay.
in The Studio this
Yep.
year. Like obviously he's
Has
having
himself.
his own little renaissance. Yes, but people are like, you know what? We love this guy. I'm sure everybody's
Yeah.
like, we want to have his last performance or his last something. I'll be honest with you.
Oh, geez,
Oh,
right.
no.
So throw him in. Let's have fun. You're like,
But it's
okay.
also funny to think, like, in context of course, his famous thoughts about Marvel movies and the backlash that he maybe received for saying certain things about Marvel movies. They're fun, they're entertainment, but come on, really, like they're not.
having
Yeah.
now consumed Star Wars in a way where I think my preferred method is through a theme park ride. He's wrong. It's not Marvel. It is this, Jacob. Like Star Wars is an amusement park. Like that's all.
Well,
You
this
should
is
just stop making movies. Don't make these movies anymore. It's not worth it.
Right.
Yeah, but this is essentially the same as the MCU, which is
This
like,
is the most
they're both
nothing
yeah.
Star Wars movie to ever exist, as far as like, and
That's
to
what
be
I
in
was
that
kinda
one
thinking.
after making those comments, yeah, it's like hypocritical.
it's funny, but I'm sure like he doesn't really like care. He's
No,
just
he doesn't
doing
care.
it for fun. But and he gives a good performance, actually, like one of the better performances in this movie, I
Yeah.
would say, as Hugo Durant.
Hugo Durant.
But
Fuck
this
you,
is what
Tyler. Who gives a shit?
he was good. He was good in his limited role. But I agree with you. This is not the worst Star Wars movie, but it is the least Star Wars movie in that it's just a nothing movie. Yeah.
It's like the least substantive. Like,
It's yeah, and it's so not a movie that like when the credits start playing, it's like the most TV ass credits I've ever seen for a movie where they're like it's like him and Glup Shido from Rebels walking. Remember they park in the Rebel base and they just like slow walking. It's like a TV intro, and I'm like, this is a movie.
And what's interesting with Zeb is it's Steve Bloom, and he's in a spaceship, and I hear his voice, and I just keep expecting to be like, and coming up is a block of Inuyasha. Like I wanted the Toonami voice because like that's what he also did. So I kept hearing Toonami whenever Zeb would speak.
Right. I wanted to be Wolverine or Spike Spiegel.
The Spike Spiegel, yep. But I'd rather see that space cowboy than the Mandalorian. But it's funny that Zeb was the original. Well, I want to just do this quick fun fact, but it's like that was the concept art for Chewbacca originally, and now he's getting to do the Chewbacca thing in this movie, like for real.
But you had the Mandalorian who flew his own ship. He had the Razor Crest, which was a unique ship for his entire season. Then it's fucking blown up, and he goes, "I should buy a Naboo starfighter." And every fan is like, "Why? What are you talking about?"
That's like his midlife crisis. I need to get a sports car.
He's like, you know what I've always wanted is a Naboo starfighter. And we're all like, the dumbest ship in Star Wars? What are you talking about?
No, I like that because it's like, that's his like, his midlife crisis.
It proves he's a loser.
He fixes up a
hot rod at his house.
In this film, Sigourney Weaver opens the film saying, by the way, did we tell you we could give you a Razor Crest colored, like painted to look like a Naboo starfighter? And he's like, I'm all ears, baby.
No, this is what she said. It's like, we raided this like Imperial guy, and he had a collection of like historic ships that he refurbished. So we have this newly refurbished Razor Crest that's exactly like your old ship, but it's like stock or whatever.
It's stock, and guess what,
brother?
It's also an advance payment, is what I'm saying. He hasn't even done the job. Like, we'll give you the ship for free. Yeah.
So you have this huge reset, and you're like, whatever. I don't even give a shit. It's like what? It's like it gets him to status quo, but even then, you're like, I don't know. At least that's what the stuff that made him iconic. Like if he's gonna be iconic, badass Mando, I guess I'm on board for that. But the issue is he has Zeb as a co-pilot.
Mm-hmm.
Mando likes to fly his own ship, so he doesn't need a pilot. He also has to have intimate moments where he's alone with the kid to be like, kid, this is how you do stuff, because 5,000 years from now, when you finally have a fucking brain cell to, say your first word, I'm going to need you to know how to fly a starship, that he can't have if Zeb is also there. So you have a character that constantly is leaving and coming and going, and he'll come in and be like, remember where we're going, you can't just call in an X-Wing, raid to firebomb. And Mando's like, oh yeah, got it. You're here? And like truly, like as he's saying that, Zeb's like, I'm not, bye. Like
that's why like when
weird.
When they go on the mission to capture Lord Janu coin or whatever, Zeb comes with him because they need the baby to be at the ship by himself so they can have that whole interaction where he's like, push this button or whatever, and he's like shooting the missiles instead because he doesn't know what button to push.
I told you to never push. Push that button. Woo!
Not that button. I don't think he knows what he's doing.
Well, that was the episode where we had Zeb.
Yeah.
And then, right. The next episode, he would not be in it, and then he would maybe come back the next episode.
Yeah.
Right.
But again, if you loved Clone Wars, the TV show, and you loved Rebels, the TV show, you're going to love this movie. Because it's a continuation of those things.
It feels like a live-action episode of those shows.
But you don't get any feeling of how they feel about each other, how their friendship formed. When Zeb was revealed to be on the show Mandalorian, he was not interacting with the Mandalorian. Do you guys remember? That was like a pre-thing. So this is our first time seeing them together, and we get no sense of like like if I was a fan of Rebels, I would get nothing out of it. Like, what do you like? You don't give a shit about this. What do you're waiting for him to find Ahsoka, I guess, or find like
The entire
Remmer?
main
What's the
cast
little
of
kid's? What's the
Rebels.
orange kid's name?
Oh,
Um,
I'm just
Johnny.
thinking of
Ezra.
Ezra Bridger.
Bridger.
But
Ezra
That's right.
Bridger.
between this and Ahsoka, you've gotten live action adaptations of the entire main cast of Rebels, except for the main Jedi guy that I think
Well, he's
died
dead,
or something.
yeah, Kanan Jarrus.
Yeah.
But you get the rest
Yeah.
of the cast. You get Mike's favorite actress, Mary
Elizabeth Winstead is Hera.
So you just have like you have psychopaths like former host of this show, Joe, who's like holding on for characters like Dash Rendar. And then you have like psychos that I don't even know who are like, and I'm a Rebels fan who just needs to see them all
people
come
that are,
together
like,
for
10 years
live
younger than
action.
us, basically.
Yeah.
Please, soon.
like,
Well, speaking of our friend Joe, I did talk to him about this movie after he saw it. He's much higher on it than the three of us, I would
Loved
say, even more than Mike. And he
Wow.
said, "Yeah, it's just a fun ride." And so he liked it more than he's like, "Yeah, I liked it more than Rise of Skywalker. I liked it more than Solo. I liked it more than Rogue One." So he had a good time with it. And if you just look at it that way, it's a fun adventure, I guess.
it's
but I
just an
can't be as
adventure,
positive
yeah.
about it.
It's a Saturday serial, and the characters are exactly the same in the beginning as they are at the end because it's a Saturday serial. Like, you could miss that episode one week, tune in this next week, and you haven't really missed anything of substance.
No, again, I would just ask what is different about it than the Mandalorian TV show, and what differentiates it as a theatrical movie? And the answer is nothing. So why make it a movie?
Yeah, we talk sometimes about how some of these seasons of these shows are like stretched out and maybe they should have been a movie, but this feels like a movie that should have been a show. Like, weirdly, for the first time ever, we're like, you know what? Maybe this didn't need to be.
Like, you can see the whole assault on the Hutt's palace is like a two-parter.
But
correct.
the other bummer is it would have been like my least favorite season of The Mandalorian. Like, if you would have told me, like, do you like the season where Bo-Katan returns, or do you like the season where he goes up against the Hutt twins? I'd be like, well, no, not the Hutt twins one. I don't like that one.
This is like a half of the season, and maybe the other half would be better.
I don't know.
That's what I'm saying. It's like not even one of the best episodes of the show. It's like an average episode of the show.
Yeah, because essentially we get the opening bounty, we go to Rada, arena fight, escape, and then he gets kidnapped, and then we have to do the rescue from the Hutt thing. That's it. It's like 3
He literally goes back to the New Republic headquarters and says, "Okay, I'm going to take a break now.
I'm taking a
go
break.
back to my house."
No,
and that's where an episode would end.
This is where I like. Well, one, we should say, when Jeremy Allen White is introduced, when his character Rada the Hutt is introduced, I saw this on it's Memorial Day weekend. I saw this on Friday. I had the entire day off. I went to the earliest showing at 11 a.m. at my theater. 2 other people in my theater. That's not conducive to have kids. That is people who are checklisting it. It's not people who are going to go like the night of the big release to see celebrate with fellow Star Wars fans. So it was 2 older looking guys who kind of looked like me, and we sat far away from each other. And I'm glad, because every time Rada the Hutt said a line, I did out loud say in the theater the line Rada would say. I would say, "I'm not like my dad." Like, I would just have to say, just say what Rada was saying to like, it was like a bit of psychosis that I was like, I'm saying what Jabba the Hutt is saying. Like, "Hi there, how are you?"
Yeah.
That's
Hello, I'm Jabba the Hutt.
The kid's lucky he has you. Don't you know? The twins are tricking you. They're tricking you. The twins are tricking you. Like, you just, it's like, it's, I can't describe how insane it is. But the other side of it is that I'm watching this dumb movie or whatever, and
alleged movie.
I can kind of feel that, like, alleged movie. I can kind of feel that, like, nobody's satisfied or whatever, right?
Yeah.
So the energy is kind of like low or whatever, and it's matching what it's giving, because we're getting the scenes with Pedro kind of like taking his mask off now. He's talking to the Hutts. It seems like he's like barely showing up for the millions of dollars that he's like been given here. When he's fighting like this sort of light beast or whatever, I don't know. I don't know where I'm going with this, other than to just say that I was just so depressed, y'all.
So you don't think that what is going to save
There's some
Star
fun
Wars
action
is
scenes.
Pedro Pascal
Yeah.
fighting a dragon snake? That's not going to save.
Yeah.
That was
Star
one of the
Wars?
parts I
This
liked
Star
more than the
Wars.
rest of the movie.
Yeah, I liked it,
like,
but
at least
it's-
that's
Star
like
Wars.
some fun action. But
What is
Yeah.
a Star Wars movie in theaters?
Well, it has
What
a hut
should
with
it
a pit with a beast beneath the pit, just like
Yeah.
in Return of the Jedi, but it's water, so it's
Don't
different.
trust that.
it's very
Yeah.
it's Return of the Jedi. The problem is they would lean so hard into this. Okay, we're gonna do what Dave Filoni wants and what John Favreau, like their vision for Star Wars, is just more of this Clone Wars Rebels bullshit. And it's like
People like those shows,
don't
but I
think
don't
that's
think
what
the audience is big
Yeah.
enough. Yeah, sorry.
for a streaming show. I mean, again, if this was season 4 of The Mandalorian, I might be a little higher on it. But as a movie, the first Star Wars movie in 7 years, it just seems like an insane decision to be like, this is our big return to theatrical movies. And it's just more of the same bland Mando and Grogu shit. It's
Yeah.
just crazy to me.
And I still have issue with things where he's like, I don't want to fight, but when we have to, we fight. Meanwhile, he's like flamethrowing everybody with reckless abandon. Like you're doing
Yeah.
a lot of violence. Yeah.
Again, it's just so inconsequential. Like, it doesn't have any larger stakes to what's happening in the universe. It's literally just a mission that Mando goes on, realizes he's being double crossed, goes back to the Hutt's palace, gets tricked into fighting a giant water dragon or something, gets the poison in him,
Sure.
almost dies, I guess, and then they go back and then they fight and they blow up the Jabba's palace or the Hutt's palace, whatever
Yeah.
it's called.
Well, and also as we said earlier, Colin mentioned this. Zeb is like, this is not our airspace. We can't call in the X-wings. And then like they do a fucking illegal airstrike on the Hutt planet at the end anyway. They called in an airstrike.
Here's
Yeah.
here's what I wanted to critique plot wise. So you have this entire story where they've rescued Rada, right? And they're bringing back, and we already called out Johnu Coin, oddly played by actor Johnu Coin, like
True, in the credits. His name is Johnny Coin, the actor.
Johnny Coin
Character's name
plays
is
Johnu
Johnny
Coin. And the
Wow.
idea that like literally like the twist of this can be like, you didn't think a guy had a last name, did you? And it's
Yeah.
like, I guess not. I guess I didn't. You got me there, Mando.
Yeah,
But
dude.
This film infuriates you because he goes back and, like Jacob said, he takes a break, and this would be the episode break where he's like, I'm actually taking a break.
I'm
back."
taking a break. I'm
And-
going
and
back to
she's
my
like-
house.
And Ward says, why? And he goes, it got really sloppy. And she's like, how did it get sloppy? And he goes, the person I found was actually this other guy. And she goes, well, I don't really like that because we had to deal with these
Yeah,
two
the New
people
Republic
to
is
get this
mad.
information.
Because
And
he
he
brings
says-
in
He
Coin
finds the guy.
and he's like,
But
you're
he
supposed to go
says-
back to the Hutts. You're like,
but
the
he
Hutts are
says-
double crossing.
And she says, well, I'm just upset because you're ruining the relationship, and I really wanted to pay those two, to like be on their side. And he goes, but you're
They're
paying for
betraying
like
you.
the info to find this dude. I found the dude.
I already
she
found
cut
him.
out the middleman.
And she goes,
Yeah.
and she says, I don't understand. And he does like another lap on it. And you're like, Sigourney Weaver, I can't believe how hard this is, to the point that you're like, again, she's the only human being you have seen in this entire movie other than a guy named Johnny Coin, who you're like, well, I don't know who that actor is. So there's no way he's the big bad in this movie. So you kind of get in your brain, you're like, maybe Sigourney Weaver is going to pull a twist at this end of this movie and be like, the reason I was acting so stupid about the fucking playing card thing is because I'm the big boss, you idiot. But no,
Right.
truly at the end, he's like, no, you just didn't understand it. She goes, I guess not, but I called in the airstrike. So
Yeah.
it's
But-
so
well,
crazy.
It's
I think
wild.
the thing is,
Yeah.
the New Republic has cultivated this relationship with the Hutts where they're working with the Hutts. So she's like, you're going against what the Hutts want, so it's going to mess up our future relationship. He's like, well, the Hutts are like
And he's
notorious gangsters and like bad
Yeah.
people that will double
And
cross.
he says, to that point, and I appreciate what you're saying, Sigourney Weaver. Mando says, to that point, the info they're giving you is bad. Here's the info you want.
They're working with that guy.
And she says, that's not how we do things here. Like,
Yeah.
she's like, I just don't know if I can
Yeah.
trust that, Mando. It's like, what are you talking about?
And Mando's just like, look, I'm an independent contractor. I need to know where to submit my tax forms for tax purposes.
I need a W-2. I don't know if we've talked yet, Ward. I need a 1099, and I am itemizing my son.
I'm billing the mileage, Yeah.
Yes, all of
Right.
it across the board.
Ammunition costs. Yep.
But Colin,
That
you say,
movie would be more interesting. Him doing space taxes.
True.
I need to know how to write this off.
The
Yeah.
logistics of bounty hunting taxes.
My withholdings.
My son's cookies.
He's my dependent
But,
technically, so I
Colin-
get a break,
Yeah. What you're saying is, Sigourney Weaver, the only human presence. Again, I said this name, Brendan Wayne, the third build name in the credits, Brendan Wayne. And you think, who is that? Because as we know, Pedro Pascal is not in the Mandalorian suit for like 90% of the time.
Yeah.
And it is this guy named Brendan Wayne, who I believe is like John Wayne's grandson or something.
Yeah, he's related to John Wayne.
Yeah, who's a stunt performer, who is the suit guy, and he's literally third build in this credits after Pedro Pascal and Jeremy Allen White because he's so important in the movie. Because I'm guessing that he's in the movie like 99% of the time.
And I heard Pedro Pascal actually lobbied for that. Like, yo, get the stuntmen higher up on the credits, which, respect to him for doing that. Because he's like, I'm not ever there. Are you kidding me?
Like I just basically do the voice, and then when they need me to take my helmet off in one scene, I come in.
Yep. I did half a day, called it a wrap.
Yeah. Which again, in Mandalorian, like his whole thing is like a very flat, unemotional affect to his character because he's a Mandalorian. But again, it's just a very kind of phoned in performance where you can just be like, I am the Mandalorian. Yes, I will go do this.
We started our new long form series, and Jacob, you gave that fact that I've been thinking about a lot about in 2000's X-Men by Bryan Singer.
That's
where
right.
Hugh Jackman has a weird voice at one point because he just hadn't found it yet. Where he's like, I'm just like
On the
fucking
training
trying
scene.
things out, right?
Yeah.
And I watched that Martin Short documentary, and there's a bunch of footage of Martin Short just walking around doing voices, and he's like, I haven't found this character yet. Like, I think you do. I think
Jimmy
actors much more than we realize have to dial back in, and I think Pedro, who has had so much fucking work, Last of Us, Fantastic Four, all this stuff, I think he has lost the Mandalorian. I think he has not gotten back into it, and he's like, I don't have it anymore, man. I don't know.
Look, Pedro, you just have to sound like you just woke up and you're still half asleep. Like, it's not that hard. But no, you're right. Like Pedro, he's in like 5 movies a year. He's doing, he's in Eddington. He's in all these other movies. So yeah, like he probably hasn't thought about the Mandalorian that much until recently.
They're like, I love that show with you and Grogu, and he's like, what did you call Bella Ramsey? They're like, no, that show with you and that child that you go around. And he's like confused. He's like, well, I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
That's true. It's probably hard to snap into a character, especially when even at the peak of it, you were like never hardly on set in the armor.
Yes.
Like you're never in character.
Right.
He's very disconnected, even when he's connected. So
correct.
It's interesting because I like Pedro Pascal. I've liked him for a long time. I like him as an actor. Seems like a good guy. I like him in other roles, but it just seems like he's phoning it in here. And even in Fantastic Four, I didn't really like what he was doing in Fantastic Four. And so I just don't like some of the choices he's been making recently.
Well, let me ask you about some other choices that were made here. What do you guys think about this guy the Hutts hire to go get the Mandalorian Embo and his little dog? What do you think about Embo, another Clone Wars character?
This is one of those things where, I mean, we keep saying Glub Shido, but this is one of those things where people it's a Dave Filoni. Dave Filoni takes every character and he blah, blah.
Yeah.
I have no fucking clue who this is. This means nothing to me.
I do remember this character from Clone Wars, but even this character is like a Temu version of Cad Bane, who's already a Glup Shido. Cad Bane. And it's like, we got a worse version of Cad Bane.
Cad Bane's
He's
like
got
a
like a
C-list
hat,
glub
like-
shido, and then this is like a D-list glub shido. Yeah.
Right.
He does a Kung Lao at one point, like explicitly.
Yeah, he's got the Kung Lao hat.
He does the thing where he kicks it off the ground and picks it up too. Like he does Kung Lao moves.
Yeah.
If
They're like, we want
this-
to make as much money as Mortal Kombat 2.
Yeah.
If this movie had the premise of the fantabulous emancipation of one Harley Quinn and the Birds of Prey, where that film has the whole subplot of Harley Quinn is excommunicado, a la John Wick, and now every assassin in the world can come for them. Like if ex-bounty hunter the Mandalorian was now beset by every bounty hunter in the galaxy, this would be a dope film. Like you could write something around that where he's like, oh my God, we're never going to be safe. And the only thing I want out of the world is to keep this kid safe. What do we do? But instead, it's just like this half-baked glup shido. Like I don't understand like what this is, and like just the Huts being like, we hired the dumbest guy.
Well,
and you're like, oh
right.
cool, he's got a bowcaster too. Great
A
shit.
thing that's been criticized is there's no personal stakes. This all happens because he takes a job which is voluntary. Like this movie could just not happen if he decided to take a break earlier. Like there's nothing personal for the Mandalorian in this entire plot.
But I actually think, Colin, what you're saying, that's the biggest problem with this movie is that if it needed some bigger stakes thing to make it worth making a movie, rather than just another adventure that Mando and Grogu goes on that doesn't have any kind of bigger stakes.
The way it's presented now, it's like, we have to do this film. After all, they put a down payment on our family van. And you're like, okay. Like, that's what the stakes are? Like, it's nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have a new Razor Crest.
It's not like they've kidnapped, like Grogu and it's personal now or whatever. It's like, no, he's just being employed. He's just being employed.
Like you're saying, like even like Mando dying, Grogu saying his first words, like anything. Give us anything. Like obviously Mando, I knew he wasn't going to die because they want to do more Mando and Grogu.
It's your payment, Mando. We finally got it. We scoured the galaxy for this. The history of the Yoda species. You can finally take the kid, to where he goes. That's something. Like it's a huge thing that you have to commit to that I don't think any of these fuckers can do. I think their whole thing from the top is like, don't commit to anything.
Don't commit to any arcs because there's a sense of finality and we want to keep these going forever in sort of a status quo where that's the whole problem with the Mandalorian show is that they reached a natural endpoint of their arcs where it made sense to split them up, but then at the last second they're like, actually Grogu is going to come hang out with Mando again because we can't separate them.
Yeah. The problem is they reached a natural endpoint and they ended it, and then in a different show called The Book of Boba Fett, they're like, what if we actually undo all of that and set up another season where we changed nothing?
Yeah. And that's the problem with this movie is that they can't have any kind of stakes or just change in the status quo because like, what if we want to do another season of Mando?
Yeah, they don't know what they want to do, so this has to do nothing. And it succeeds at that.
Yeah. And because Baby Yoda, aka Grogu, is their biggest seller when it comes to marketability, when it comes to kids, obviously he's very popular. We can't do anything to mess with that cash cow of Grogu, and therefore Mando has to be there, and therefore they have to go on adventures together.
I would have remade Midnight Run, Jacob. I would have had a super handsome. I would have done Dash Rendar is a super handsome bounty hunter, a la Han Solo. Cast him with Glenn Powell. Cast him as like the hottest leading man, whoever he is right now. He arrests Mando. It's Jacob Elordi. He's like, I'm turning you in. And Mando's like, you don't get it. I'm a good guy. And they're on the run from every other bounty hunter as they have to like, solve some, personal crisis or like or Grogu's been carbonited and taken. They only have, so much time to get him back. Like you could do truly fucking anything.
That idea sounds so much better than what this movie is.
Yeah.
And you just like came up with it off the top of your head. It's like, that's why I don't understand. Like they couldn't have thought of a better plot for this movie.
nothing. There is
Yeah.
they
Oh my
have
God.
nothing to do this movie.
Imagine a Star Wars 310 to Yuma. Mando, you got to get this guy to this station, and then all the bounty hunters. That's
yes,
sick. And he's
yes,
protecting Grogu.
yes.
That would
That's
be
exactly
sick.
how you do, Mike. That's
Something
great.
with some kind of
just
stakes
copy a
to it.
Western. Just copy a
Yeah.
good Western.
No. You what Star Wars used to do?
Yeah.
Steal from the classic genres of epic films? No, we shouldn't do that. We'll just
fistful
do
of dollars.
slop.
Turn the gangs against each other. Like, just do a Western. You idiots.
Yeah. No, I like those ideas way more than what we got.
Yeah.
And it's like, they couldn't think of anything original to do. Like the highest stakes is like, oh, the Hutts captured Rada the Hutt and they're like torturing him.
He's
Okay.
but like Mando's not a character anymore. Like they've reached this weird point where they're like, he has to stay stagnant. We don't want anyone to change or do anything. Like that's the core of what we're complaining about. I know we keep sort of repeating it, but to the point where literally the lead of this film, it's like, what does he do? It's like, we'll have him say, we could bring him in hot or we could bring you in cold a couple times. It's like, why? It's like, well, because that's what he used to say on the show. And if he could just do that, everyone will feel safe and good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, remember season 1 of Mandalorian when everyone was loving it and it was very mysterious and
you mean when he was with Horatio Sands? Don't remember that stuff. Like
Bill
just
Burr?
like caps of it. Well, I remember Cara Dune. Who played her again?
No, she's getting beat up by Ronda Rousey.
17 seconds.
Yeah, we're not worried about such things. No.
No, they need to look. The whole problem is the first theatrical Star Wars movie in 7 years needed to be not the Mandalorian and Grogu. It should have been something else. Like honestly,
anything.
Yeah.
And I think it's ill-advised to lean further into the Filoni of it all. Like, I don't think these characters are gaining any popularity that they didn't have before, and I don't think new fans are like, oh man, I love this new guy, Ezra. Like, I don't think this is the right play to just keep bringing in Clone Wars characters.
I think
it's when the boss of bosses is like, you guys don't understand. We need a hit to get on base. Anything that works. Mando is a sure character. That means it's a sure swing. And us as the fans are like, you don't understand. It is not swinging at the bases. This is 4 balls in a row. You cannot succeed with 4 balls in a row. You don't get a run out of that. You get on base. You're right about that, but you get nothing else out of that. Nothing else.
No.
This is getting swept in 4 games by the New York Knicks in the Eastern Conference Finals.
Whoa. Oh man.
Real. But look, this is the problem, and this is what I've been harping on for 10 years. And I know, we've talked a lot about The Last Jedi, the discourse around it, the online splintering of the fan base. You have the fandom menace. You have these people who don't like certain things in Star Wars, and they say, look, Kathleen Kennedy, she's woke, get her out of here. Dave Filoni, that's the guy.
Yeah.
Dave Filoni knows what he's doing, and Jon Favreau, like, these guys are the future of Star Wars. And I think Star Wars listened to the fans, a certain contingent of fans, so hard that they overcorrected so much that they're like, okay, we're putting all our trust in Filoni's vision. And it's like, that's not really what people don't want. Just the glup shittos. Like this is not what they want. I don't know what they want, but this is not it.
No, and to speak to that fandom menace side of this movie has one woman in it. It's Sigourney Weaver. Like, they're like, there's no queer characters, there's no female characters, it's just a cool Mandalorian and shooting shit. Like, they're gonna love this. And it's like, I don't think you're doing this correctly.
Well, what's funny is, like, those people just hate anything that Disney Star Wars does. And so they're thinking like, oh yeah, this will get people on our side. It's like, no, they already hate you. They're not going to change their mind. Like, even now, like, even with, Filoni, like, they're at this point, they're like, it's all woke and gay. Like, they don't care anymore. And you shouldn't listen to those people in the first place, because they're stupid.
But this feels like it's quote unquote the least woke, because it is just 2 male characters finding another male fighter tough guy, and it's a lot of action. Like, it's the most like get back to do
Yeah.
stuff, you know? And it's just like whatever.
Right. And I get you want to overcorrect after the sequels were largely a failure for the whole universe and the direction of Star Wars. And Mandalorian was the most successful thing that's come along in terms of marketability. You have the little cute baby Yoda. You have Mando. He's a cool guy. And so from that, they extrapolate, we need to make the Mando and Grogu movie. But this isn't really pleasing anybody, to my knowledge, except Joe, I guess, our friend Joe, who loved it. Or he didn't love it, I guess he liked it.
I don't know, but maybe it's about time we could head over to final thoughts. I think we're kind of winding it down here, right? So, again, back in the tiny ship.
Yeah. Did we even explain the whole plot of the movie, or does it not even matter?
Oh, we did. The Hutts get blown up in an airstrike, and Mando gets sick, and then he gets better thanks to Swamp Joe or Bayou Bill, whoever that guy was.
I see you stole my fish.
Yeah. Oh, come out here, little one.
Down here in the bayou.
Fish. Yeah. I like that guy.
All right, let's head it.
He's not paying rent for the Hutts. He's just doing.
Why
his
is
thing.
he just sitting like fishing in the middle of the swamp on the Hutt planet or wherever?
I don't know, but I like him. Like, do the Hutts know he's there? You know, does he pay them?
That's what I was wondering. Like, he's just hanging out on his wooden rocking chair.
Chica, leave Steve to fish as he likes. I like that he's there. Oh,
yeah. And he's like, what are you doing there, little one? I'm surprised that the Hutts haven't eaten you yet, little baby Yoda.
Bib Fortuna's just like, my man.
He goes and takes some fish every once in a while. They do a fish Friday. Like, there's our guy, Swamp Steve. Welcome back,
Swamp Steve.
That's my favorite part of the movie, maybe, Swamp Steve. All right. Final thoughts right after this.
We're back here on Normies Like Us, where we're giving our final thoughts here on The Mandalorian and Grogu. And I'll ask you guys about that last part of the title. I'm glad you have. You're good friends, Mandalorian and Grogu. But the Grogu of it all, this final part that we kind of fast forwarded through really is him taking the charge and healing his mentor. Did you like seeing solo Grogu?
So I liked these scenes. The problem was it was like this was the point where I was like, I thought it was about to be over, and then it went on for another 45 minutes. So if this was like earlier on in the movie, I might have liked it more. But at this point, I'm like, I hate that I'm still at this theater. I want to go home. And also, when I saw this movie in theater, I saw this movie it started at 11:30 at night.
Whoa.
And so it was the last showing of the night. Yeah, I like to go late,
out at like
late
2 a.m.
night sometimes.
Damn.
Yeah. Well, after the 45 minutes of credits, so it's starting after midnight basically, and then it was after 2 a.m. by the time I got out, and so I was like falling asleep in my chair. So I was just trying to get through it, but I do like the idea of these solo Grogu scenes, and he's in the swamp, which is like I feel like that's like sort of a Dagobah connection where they're like, well, Yoda was in a swamp, so maybe Grogu should be in a swamp.
And I guess setting it on Hutt Prime like that enables that to feel organic for the story. And the closest thing, I guess, if you're mining for like what is this movie about, the old protect the young and then the young protect the old, like that's the only arc is really Grogu having his protection moment. But it's so like, like I don't know, like it's there.
Yeah. And I never thought for a second that Mando was actually going to die either. Like it's like, well, obviously he's not going to die.
And it is like a little contrived too, where Baby Yoda, Grogu is at Swamp Steve's hut, and then Embo comes through and he's like, "Oh, you go hide." And then Embo's like, "Hey, I'm looking for this guy. He's poisoned and probably going to die. Have you seen him?" And he basically gives him all the information to where Swamp Steve could be like, "Oh, you're probably with that guy they're looking for. Here's the cure-all." Like it's a little convenient that Embo kind of info dumps so that he can give Grogu the cure. Like, "Oh, I know who you're hiding."
Right. But I like when his dog comes around and he's like, "Get away from my fish."
I like that he's protective of his fish, man. I like this guy.
What is his name? Out there to catch some fish.
He's my new favorite Swamp Shitto.
Doesn't matter, Mike, what his name is.
I gotta find it out.
It matters.
But
his name is Gattori.
But we heal Mandalorian. His name's Gattori. Oh, I don't like that as much. But and then we get the thing. If we leave now, we'll have some time. But they're gonna come after us. So what do we do, kid? Do we run or do we fight? and then we choose to fight, and we do the big assault on the huts. And once they get Rada freed and they're all fighting, it's kind of a big slugfest, wouldn't you say? With the twins and Rada, you know.
Again, the
holding
idea
on to that for days.
The huts.
When they're in the water and Rada's splashing water on Grogu and Grogu's giggling, Amanda's watching, nodding from the distance. I out loud again said, "I'm not like my father." Like, just kept repeating his lines in that
Look,
moment.
I'm a different kind of big slug, okay?
You know, we'll talk about it in a
big
week,
slug.
but I can imagine Rada going to Jabba and saying, "I bet you never played on the beach a day in your life," kind of thing. Yeah.
But here's the thing about just the huts is that Jabba the Hutt was a character introduced mentioned in earlier, but appears in
mentioned in
Return
New
of the
Hope,
Jedi,
appears
right?
in Jedi, yes, depending on what cut you're watching.
Right. And he was one character named Jabba the Hutt. We didn't know anything else about him. To extrapolate from that, basically it's a race of giant slugs named Hutts that are all like
they've had a crime syndicate for thousands of years. They said thousands of years they've had crime rings.
Right, but now there's one good Hutt that doesn't want to do crime syndicates.
Can't he just say you take it over? Why do they got to kill him? Yeah.
Here's moving on to the final thoughts. Here's the little Colin's final thoughts, guys. I had a stressful week. I was out of town. I was working on a job site, and I was doing a stressful job. And when we were done, everybody was like, "Man, that sucked. What are we gonna do?" And everybody kind of went around and was like, "What? Yeah, I'm gonna do this when I get back. I'm gonna do this." And I said, "I'm gonna see the new Star Wars movie." And these middle-aged men that asked me this question, their jaws dropped. And one of them said, "There's a new Star Wars movie?" Wow. And I said, "Yeah." And he said, "What's it about?" And I said, "Well, have you seen the show The Mandalorian?" And a different guy goes, "I love that show." And I said, "Well, it's a movie of that." And a couple of them went, "Huh?" And they kind of like gasped.
Mandalorian and Grogu.
And none of those guys had any idea that this fucking movie was coming out.
Wild.
And I guess again, it's like, what is a Star Wars movie? What's the point of a Star Wars movie? When I was a kid, a Star Wars movie was the peak of imagination. When you thought of what is a film and what is like the most important movie of all time, you would say 1977 Star Wars. Now that's changed a lot over the years, and it's changed a lot for other people. And obviously things can dilute, but for a long, long, long time, in the two waves that I have lived through, let's say three. Yeah. Let's say the three waves that I lived through, which was the 1998 re-releases of the original trilogy, the prequel trilogy, and then the sequel trilogy. It seemed to me that each time those happened, it was very, very, very exciting for cinema when those things occurred. Yeah. And now I would say middle-aged men say to me, "Wow, what Star Wars movie are you seeing?" And I go, "The new one," and they don't know. And that's mind-blowing to me.
And that's what I mean when The Force Awakens came out, it was like a huge deal.
It was a huge
I remember the marketing, the trailers and everything. Like everyone was so excited.
It is to this day
I went
the
to the
highest
premiere.
grossing domestic film of all time. Mike went to the fucking premiere. Adam went to all those, Star Wars days, Star Wars conventions. Like
everyone
it
was so excited.
big.
When the trailer dropped on YouTube, I remember just rewatching it and be like, "Holy shit, more Star Wars! Like new Star Wars is coming out. They did it." And what Force Awakens was fine. Like in retrospect, like it did its job. And then there was fallout of all the problems with that whole trilogy. But they've just felt so directionless ever since then with what is Star Wars.
And I'm sitting in a theater with two other middle-aged men, and a trailer for the film He-Man comes up, and I go, "Now there's a movie!" Like truly, like the joy sensors in my brain is like, Well, here we go with summer movies like we talked about it. Mortal
Yeah.
Kombat, He-Man, Street Fighter. That is where
The
I'm on the
Odyssey.
side of like, at least that is scratching a fucking itch.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, this side of my brain, I'm as cold as ever going to what Mike said, the clinical lizard side of like, you shameless fucking money monster. All
Yeah.
you're gonna get me to try to do is see if I'm ballsy enough to buy that $80 at fucking popcorn bucket, you monster. Yeah,
That's
our
right.
fucking
I
Burger
don't even like
King
Burger King.
glasses. Yeah, you bitches. Let me eat
Yeah.
another Nilla wafer, you fucking monsters.
Exactly. And
But
it's
you
like, and we
bought
know
it.
He-Man is still a money monster, but my brain, it's still like, nah, that's what I'm looking for. I'm in
I'm
the same
He-Man,
like,
boat,
that's
yeah.
something new. I'm like, that's different at least.
at least.
Well, if you want to talk about trailers in front of this movie that I was excited for, I
Minions?
mean, hands down for me, Dune Part 3 coming out
Oh.
this December, blowing everything else out of the water trailer wise. I was like, holy shit, now there's a Star Wars movie. Like, that's
Damn,
what
you know
Star Wars
what?
should look like.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I'm excited about that. What, you got Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey coming out this summer. Everyone's really excited for that.
Is Ludwig doing that score too? Because he did Oppenheimer.
I'm
Bro
not
is
sure,
cooking right
yeah.
now. He did This Is America.
cooking.
Like Ludwig's the best.
Yeah. He did the
Um,
Community TV show score.
What a god,
Like that's how he
dude.
got his start in working with Childish Gambino and stuff.
Donald,
But
yeah.
again, I do want like the score, that
Best
was the
part of this
one thing
movie.
I noticed in this movie that I'm like, this score is so good that it's like making this movie tolerable for me.
hmm And he wrote the original Mandalorian theme, which is probably like the best piece of Star Wars music
Yeah.
since like the prequel.
And the way
He
he like
just pulled
remixes
his
it.
little flute out and was like, "Oh yeah, I realized it could just be."
Yeah. Obviously, like it's a reference to like westerns, like western soundtrack of like kind of sound, right?
Yeah, like
And
an
so
Ennio
to
Morricone.
extrapolate that, yeah, it's genius. And then the way that it's remixed and reused in this movie with different like synthesizers and stuff, like the soundtrack is so good. The cinematography, like pretty terrible, pretty flat throughout, too dark in some scenes. Again, just not cinematic at all. Looks like it could have been the streaming show. One thing we didn't mention again is the little Babu Fricks, the Avalians or whatever they're called,
And
Don't care
Zellens.
about that.
and Zellens. I liked when they showed up. I like the little Babu Fricks. I like that they have spaceships that are small that only
did
they
like
can
that.
fit in.
When Mandalorian, they walk up on
They
the
have a
escape and he's
speeder.
like, I'm not going to fit
Yeah,
in there.
I
I
can't
did
fit
like
in.
that.
I don't like it.
And so you
Just
have
doesn't like
you
it.
don't like when one of the little Babu Fricks gets kidnapped by the dog with the Mandalorian, and so they have to go
I thought he was
rescue
gonna
him.
fucking break his neck. I thought he was gonna eat him.
Yeah, it's weird that the dog doesn't eat him when he has the opportunity to. He's just kind of licking him, I guess.
Playing with his toy.
But I like when like the three little Babus and Yoda have to go save Mando, and they get in the little ship, and like Baby Yoda's bigger than them, so it's like the only time that he's like bigger than something, which is very funny to me as like a visual gag.
And he does
so
have
I
the
like those
agency to
guys.
like get them to fly back and get help and stuff. Like Baby Yoda's doing something.
Yeah, it's really, I never know how much or how little Grogu understands about what's going on and how much he can
He's
comprehend.
slow. He's mentally challenged, dog.
He
He can't talk, but he can understand what people are saying and react to that.
But also, Mando says "heel" like a dog to him.
Yeah,
Heel,
I don't
heel,
like that. Heel. Yeah, that's not good. That's the old
heel,
Mandalorian thing.
heel.
Yeah.
So this is a quick side note, but we used to play the Star Wars Squadrons video game competitively.
Right.
You know, me and Adam, friend of the show, we were Junk Squadron, and when we go to these tournaments, everybody had their Star Wars themed names. But the best team name we ever encountered was the Babu Freaks. So whenever I saw those guys on screen, I would just think, "Oh, it's the Babu Freaks." So that's what I call that group now. Oh, it's the Babu Freaks.
Yeah. I like that. And if you remember way back to when we talked about the Rise of Skywalker, and I mostly hated that movie, but the one thing that I love from that movie is my guy Babu Frick and Zori Bliss. Of course, Zori, you made it.
You made it.
You made it. So shout out to
you
Babu
made it.
Frick.
We just needed one of
That's
those.
one glove shido that I can get behind.
But yeah, here's a question: is The Mandalorian cooler than Boba Fett now. After the Boba Fett show, I think for sure. I think the Boba Fett show really hurt Boba
Yeah.
Fett's stock as far as being a cool character.
Boba Fett's like a 60-year-old man now. Is the problem?
Well, here's the other thing about the box office. It's officially making less than Solo did, so it's
Ooh.
not
that doesn't surprise
set up on success here. It seems like it's going to be one of those things that's maybe look back in 10 years where people go, you know what's really underrated? And then all of us old heads will be like, no, that piece of garbage is exactly where it should be rated at. I don't know.
That's why I was surprised when Joe said he liked it more than Solo. He liked it more than Rogue One. I was like, are you sure, dog? Like, go back and
I don't
rewatch.
know.
I don't think it
I
is
don't
better
know.
than Solo. Like, I don't love Solo, but I think it's a better movie than this. And by the way, maybe we mentioned it, but Dave Filoni does have a cameo in this as an X-Wing pilot with his
Wearing
little cowboy
stupid
hat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
His name, his
Trapper
OC
Wolf.
is Trapper Wolf. That's his OC in the Star Wars
You
universe.
cannot
his
do
original
that,
character.
Dave. Stop him.
And then I put myself in it. I'm named
Pilot.
Trapper Wolf.
Trapper Wolf.
Trapper Wolf.
And it does have
Oh my
cameos
goodness.
from other X-Wing pilots that we've seen, like Paul Sun Hung Lee,
Oh, yes.
who was in the show as Carson Teva, and also Deborah Chow, Rick Famuyiwa, and Isaac Chung, who were directors of Mandalorian episodes, who appeared before as X-Wing pilots, who again appear in this.
Yep.
In case anyone cared about those people.
I don't.
Yep. I have issue with.
I'm surprised.
Hmm.
I'm just gonna say I was surprised that Jon Favreau doesn't have a cameo in this because he is also an actor, so it would make more sense than.
Well, if you
Dave
recall,
Filoni.
he plays the big blue heavy Mandalorian character, who I believe is dead now. Didn't
That's
he die?
right.
Oh,
That's
yeah, in
right.
season
But
3,
he could be a different character.
Got his chain gun.
Yeah.
He never took his helmet off. We
Also,
don't know
where
what
is Bo-Katan? What is Bo-Katan up to? That's what everyone's asking when they're
Gives a
watching.
shit.
Where's Sasha Banks? You know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
bring these characters back, right?
So in this, The Mandalorian, they just call him Mando. Is that like diluting the kind of race of Mandalorians that we have Jabba the Hutt and then the Mandalorian? Like, is that confusing brand-wise, maybe, in hindsight?
Well, they call him Mando because he's like the only Mandalorian around because he's kind of doing his
Well,
own thing.
One guy named Grief Karga, aka Carl Weathers, used to do it the best.
Right.
Mando. I guess we have to assume he's dead now since
R.I.P.
Carl Weathers is dead. Yeah.
Yeah. He's off doing his own thing. Just the
Navarro.
journey of Mandalorians is interesting because obviously we didn't know what Mandalorians were. We knew about this character named Boba Fett who seemed really cool and mysterious.
Correct.
And then we learned that he's not even a real Mandalorian. He just has the Mandalorian armor. He's actually a clone of his father. And then we learned that there's a whole race of people called the Mandalorians that have this whole creed and all this other nonsense about taking their helmet off.
But not all of them do that.
But
Only
really,
the
that's
cult
just a
does.
cult because then the other Mandalorians are like, no, that's stupid. Why wouldn't you take your helmet off?
I hope
Right.
when Jacob describes my culture, he says, in a bunch of nonsense.
A bunch of nonsense. You know, Darth Maul ran their planet for a little while. You know, it's a lot. But in this, they're
yeah.
just
I don't
like,
appreciate any of what
not
you're
important.
saying.
There's a dark saber involved. Yeah.
So it's a lot. So this, I think they just said, we're not going to deal with Din Djarin. We're not dealing with the cult, whatever. It's just The Mandalorian for the normies. Run it.
Again, you could watch this movie having never seen the show The Mandalorian, and you'd be instantly caught up on what's happening in the show because none of it matters, or what's happening in this movie. It's an introduction to these characters if you haven't seen it.
It serves
But again, it's like, who is this for? What is it for? Where do we go from here as Star Wars?
Well,
These
we
are
know where
questions.
we're going. We're going to the stars with Ryan Gosling with Star Wars Starfighter coming next year, I think. I don't know if that's going to be any good.
Yes.
Might be better than this. Got to be better
Sean
than this.
Levy's Starfighter starring Ryan Gosling.
If it feels like a movie, I'll be excited about it. Most Sean Levy things don't. So.
Yeah.
Right, that's the problem. Is like one of my main nemesis is, as you know, Normie, is Sean Levy directing. Now I like Ryan Gosling as an actor, and I like the idea of like X-wing pilot movie. Like that's kind of cool. But this was if you're gonna make a movie, make it make some original characters or something. Make an original story in the Star Wars universe.
That's
That's
why
what I
I'm
want to
thinking
see. Like, stop
Starfighter.
bringing everything back to
Seems
Ahsoka
like this
or whatever.
is.
Yeah.
Yeah, because technically Rod of the Hutt has met Ahsoka, Anakin, now the Mandalorian, and like all these other assholes. Zep from Rebels. He's touched like every corner of the universe now, just because it's a Dave Filoni
Rod of the
joint.
Hutt is a more important character than you could possibly imagine.
What do they
Do
call it?
you
Like an
think
anchor
Ryan
being?
Gosling?
Yeah.
He is. Do you think Ryan Gosling will be teamed up with a stone spider in that film?
Oh, what's Stone Spider?
Stone spider.
A little stone spider.
Like a little
A
stone
little
crab.
Oh
alien spider.
yeah. I get it.
I hope so.
Amaze.
Mm.
Amaze. I like that.
A little droid, a little spider droid.
They'll name it Rocky.
I don't know. That's the future. Jacob, tell us what's the future of this podcast? Not
That's
Star
a great
Wars
question. So like you mentioned, we do have a movie called Master of the Universe coming out. And we're going to be talking about that in 2 weeks. Next week, we had the ending of a show that we've talked about many times on this show, called The Boys. We have The Boys season 5, final season, series finale. I believe that's a spinoff of my favorite show, Gen V. I'm not sure though. Really want to see what happens to Marie Moreau. But yeah, so next week we'll be talking about The Boys season 5. The week after that we'll be talking about Masters of the Universe. So some exciting stuff coming out.
Talking about the Vought Rising prequel series? Is that what you mean?
Sammy,
that's right. I can't wait to see
Sammy.
my favorite soldier boy.
Bomb site.
Yeah.
And then we've got our episode 400 coming up. We got our 400 Whatcha. Might have to think of something special to do for that. And then we've got X2 coming at the end of the month, of course, at the end of June. We did our X1 for this month, X-Men, and X-Women. So we have X2 next month. That's right.
Yes. Yeah, I'm excited. Like I'm excited for He-Man. Like my biggest takeaway from this movie was the He-Man trailer. That was the best thing about it.
Mine was the Dune 3 trailer.
I didn't get a Dune 3 trailer.
You didn't get it? Oh man, the Dune 3 trailer was crazy.
I got an Odyssey though.
I was hyped up.
I was at the Alamo.
Odyssey,
they had a quesadilla.
Disclosure Day, Steven Spielberg's Disclosure Day. We're all excited for that. Surely, yeah, Masters of the Universe,
Monsters and Minions. Yeah, looking forward to all that though. It'll be fun. So, yeah, buddy.
Yeah. And more summer movies coming out as the summer progresses. We've got Spider-Man. We've got other things, and we've got He-Man, not a she-man. His pronouns are he and man.
Correct. And yeah, we have the power, and this has been the way. I watched Maul's Shadow Lord. That's another Star Wars that came out. It's mid, better than this, but also inconsequential. Yeah, I watched the whole thing.
I've heard good things about it. Maybe we can talk about that on the Whatcha. Maybe
I'll talk about it on the Whatcha. But basically, if you can get through the final couple episodes, have just a bunch of fan service action figures banging together. That's kind of fun. Like, oh, what if this person fought that person? So whatever. Dave Filoni's gonna Filoni. And that's what he did for this with Jon Favreau. There's a Rod of Hutt.
We love
this
it.
One. We tolerate it.
We love Rod of the Hutt, our favorite character. And
not like my dad.
He's not like his dad,
man.
don't you think for 1 minute?
Not like my dad.
Are you like your dad?
I used to be a little baby that farted, and Ahsoka had to rescue me, and everyone loved it.
Yeah. Did great at the box office. Oh, man. This is the way.
But other than that, yeah, that's the Mandalorian and the Grogu.
Thank you for going on that little journey with us. We hope you've been enjoying sitting in this tiny little mud hut with your little hand out. It looks like Mike's taking a vitamin, a Grogu vitamin that's going to make him strong. Got Oberon Martell there. Listeners, we hope you've been watching along on YouTube. We hope you're rate, reviewing, subscribing to our podcast at normies_like_us on all social media. It helps us out a lot. You can write in there and say, hey, that's not a 5 out of 10 film. That's a 6 out of 10 TV series. We'll accept that.
It's a 4 out of 10 at best. to me.
You could tell us that. We wouldn't care.
I will
Yeah,
be
yeah,
rating
yeah.
it 2 out of 5 on Letterboxd.
Yeah.
Some might be saying that
That's where you can find
this
us.
wasn't the movie you were looking for.
Ew.
Oh, that's like a reference to Star Wars.
Star
or
Wars.
something.
We hope you use the Force to follow along. If you do, we've been your hosts. This is Jedi Colin.
Mike DeLorean.
This is Babu Jacob.
Heel.
Hey.
Bad baby. Remember,
Not like my dad.
May the Force be
Correct.
with you.
and also with you.
And this is the way.